Welcome to Legacy Cast, where we talk about your story, your way, and what are you doing to make sure that people know about you many generations from now. Welcome, Legacy Cast listeners. This is your program, Legacy Cast, where you learn about what you can do to leave your story for the generations that are going to follow. That way they can know who you are, what mattered to you, and really the things that you did to make the world a better place. This is your host, James Snow, the Legacy Guy, and I would like to welcome with me today Tomathan McGinnis. How are you doing this morning, or afternoon, rather, Tomathan?
Good afternoon, Mr. Snow. I'm doing well, amazing here in Houston, Texas. How are you?
Oh, doing great. How's the weather down there in Houston? Humid, I'm assuming.
It's humid, but right now we're having this patch of rain, so every couple of hours, we get a little shower of rain and some thunderstorms and lightning. And we've had some flooding here in the past few days, but it dries up and then it'll rain like the next day. So, I don't know. Every day is different.
We're finally able to, we love the rain showers here in Texas because it helps the temps go from 130 to tolerable. So
right,
makes a huge difference. So as the program name Legacy Cast would imply, we talk about things that pertain to legacy, but what a lot of people don't necessarily think about is it's a lot more than just finance. Legacy is really, like I like to tell people, it's how you tell your story your way, so that people that are going to follow behind us really get to know, who you were, what mattered to you, the things that really you're passionate about, and what you did to make the world better. And so, what does that mean to you, Tomathan?
Legacy, the one thing about legacy, it doesn't have to mean, something, financial or monetary, but something that sustains in your generation of your family, generation after generation after generation. For myself, when I grew up, we grew up on a farm in the country in a small town called Manheim. And in our family's name was what was passed down in our generations, which was the land. Back then it was like well over 100 acres, but as generations came, and left, and land got sold, it pretty much dwindled down, and then ended up being sold, some years ago. So, but for so many generations in my family, our land, our property is what was passed down and left, and after it was sold the last time, it just made me realize, create something that's going to sustain in your family, for decades, for generations and generations. So when I became a home-based travel agent, that's when I began creating a legacy for myself and for my family, because it's going to be something that's going to supersede me when I'm, have moved on and transitioned in life, So
sure,
starting, a legacy for yourself that's going to sustain, I feel is so important and so vital. Not just something that's just going to weather and just fall by the wayside shortly after, but creating a legacy for yourself is so important.
And I believe, Tomathan, you're also a veteran. Is that right?
Yes. It will be 20 years completely February 9th of next year.
All right.
I did 14 active and finishing up my last 6 in inactive reserves.
Outstanding. Obviously, thank you for your service. I love having veterans on the program. Being a veteran myself, we sort of have, like I tell my listeners, we have the same kind of sick sense of humor. So we like to tell some of the same dry jokes and corny jokes that we get, but everybody else doesn't get. But we're sort of a breed apart. But the reason I bring up the veteran thing is that it's kind of something that, for us, being part of a legacy mindset is really, it's kind of ingrained in us. When we decided that we were going to, take our oath of enlistment, we were becoming part of something bigger than ourselves, and we wanted to be part of something that was going to be enduring. And so, I think that, for veterans especially, it's, having that legacy mindset is really, part and parcel to who we are. We want to create something big, and we want to create something that's going to last, hopefully forever, but, if not forever, certainly for many, many generations. Do you feel like that's something that's an important consideration for people to think about. Spend time, really chewing on.
It really is. It
Mhm.
really is. Creating that, because in this day and time, it's hardly any of that left, and
Sure.
so creating that legacy starts that back up, creates that for your family, and it can become your family tradition. To continue that legacy.
Sure. Obviously, in other countries, that was something that was very big, to where people would they would contribute to the family legacy, and it wasn't just pulling from it, but contributing back into it, so that there was something to leave behind, and then the next generation, your children or your grandchildren, would continue adding to it, so that it became bigger and bigger and bigger, and
Right.
it's something.
Foundation already.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it seems like in our instant society here in the U.S., we sort of got away from that. And I love to talk to people about let's bring it back. It's something that really we should not have gotten away from, but
Right.
we have it within our power to reinstate that tradition, as you put it, to bring that back into commonplace. So as far as with what you do, I know that you have your travel business, and then some other ventures that you do. How would you correlate your legacy views into your business?
As far as my views,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always traveling, and I was always either booking it for myself or looking for someone else to book it for me,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing that I was either letting someone else make the commission, two, I probably was not getting the best possible rate guaranteed ever, and also I didn't have the time freedom or the financial freedom to take trips and travel the way that I would like to prior to becoming a home-based travel agent. And so as when I partnered and I began and I owned my own travel agency, it's created a legacy for myself now, because it's something that I can pass on, not only create income for my family, but to have the opportunity to show others how they can do it for themselves as entrepreneurs, and also create a legacy for themselves and travel more.
Sure. And we're so busy here, especially in the United States. We're so busy, trying to hump and get it, and trying to build that empire, that we kind of lose sight of sometimes the things that really matter, and
Right.
lose sight of spending time with family. And with what you do, it's certainly a good avenue for sort of regaining those priorities, and putting things back in their own perspective. If you're to think about your business for a moment, and kind of its future, and we'll look at it from the CEO standpoint, what would you say that a few things are that kind of keep you up at night, that that you're concerned about?
How to reach people, how to show others the vision, because so many times you see different things that goes on in life, and how different, other companies work and conduct themselves. And, all it takes is one bad experience when it comes to companies. It's like you look at everything else with that same vision, with that same mind frame, when you could be really, shooting down your blessing, because if it's able to free you and to afford you with that time freedom and that financial freedom and, family life, take a look at it. I think we're just so quick to shoot things down because of, experiences, when, there are some true, legit, amazing things that are out there that can really afford your dreams that you're seeking, that you're looking for. But I think we just get so accustomed to just not even taking a look, not even, willing to just want to open up our mind just a little bit to expand how we view and see things.
Okay. So what do you think the most common reason are that a new business owner, new entrepreneur would fail or just give up?
That instant gratification, want to see instant results, not, for me, staying active and staying plugged in, as we call, instead of looking at, wow, nothing's happening for me, and it's only been a month, or you really haven't put in the work or the effort into it to even see some type of results. And some people just, you know, they give up. They give up too soon.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that, you know, being tenacious, you know, having that tenacity, that endurance, you know, to continue and having a mindset of, you know, maybe for the 6 months, if I continue to put in this much effort, I will see this. And even if you do not, you know, continue to be persistent with your goal. You know, you shouldn't start a business if you don't really have, you know, a true passion, or you don't have like a mission set for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're mentioning that, having that mission set for it, it sounds kind of like having a strategy. So it sounds like, you know, maybe you feel like people should have a strategy put in place for their business, you know, for the long term.
You know, you have to.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, you know, you try to take too much on, and you just become flustered. You know, you're just like all over the place. For me, when I started, it's like I wanted to do any and everything.
Yeah.
But I had to take a step back and like, okay, what is my niche? Who am I most relatable to? You know, what are my hobbies? You know, look at my hobbies. What does somebody else have in common with that? If it's fishing, you know, okay, you have boaters, they have to travel, they want to camp out a lodge somewhere. Who can I reach that I know that they will probably, you know, either take a look at the vision or see, or just be interested with them, you know, for themselves. You know, a lot of people, they always travel. Mm-hmm. So I look at, you know, my vets. I always talk to my vets, you know, in our vet tribe, and our vetpreneur group. So, you know, if this has been working for myself and my family, let me share this opportunity with others.
Sure. So what would be some particular roadblocks that you might advise a new business owner to watch out for?
There's so many copycats, you know, everything looks almost like it's a duplicate, but we just really take the time to listen to the validation, not just from one, but from others. You know, do your research. You know, if somebody is claiming something, or if it just like it seems like it has this, like it reads weird, you know, don't be afraid to research it. Mm-hmm. You know, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Sure. Yeah, it's like a lot of people say, you know, that there's really nothing new out there. You know, we're all sort of doing the same thing. So, yeah, just making sure that you can sort of put your own spin on it and, you know, make it unique. You know, put yourself into it. So, as far as resources, and you know, this kind of is something that a lot of our veteran brothers and sisters will relate to there as well. What resources would you suggest that they look for that's going to help them succeed better?
How to manage, you know, how to manage your time, marketing strategies, counting, you know, business strategies. There's so many resources, you know, there's resources even with the company that, you know, you are with, you know, there's resource that you can always tap into that can make you successful, because if it's afforded to everyone else and it's afforded to you, then I feel like you should definitely take a look at it and just dive into it and digest it.
Yeah. And you know, we're kind of in an interesting time, you know, here, especially in our country, that you know, people are starting to kind of inject their belief systems, their value systems into their business. And you know, some people, you know, feel like that's a good thing, some people not. Where are you on that particular subject, as far as, you know, do you put your values in your business?
Yes, I do. You know, you have to nurture it like you will nurture yourself. Mm-hmm. And, you know, not just with travel, but, you know, I act, I model. So, you know, there's times to where I'll take some downtime. You know, it's needed sometimes. You know, if you're always going and going and going, then you may fall off on something here, and you know, or this may fall by the wayside because you're just so tired, you're just, you know, mentally exhausted. But finding that work-life balance is so important. Definitely have to, you know, invest in your work-life balance. That to me is rejuvenating. Yeah. In order for me to, you know, endure and continue and sustain and to be successful, you know, and not just one, but all your endeavors. You know, everything is work. You know, everything is what you put into it. What you put into it is what you will get out. Right. So the more you invest in that, you know, I feel like the more successful that you'll feel that you'll become.
Yeah, I like how you put that. Yeah, a lot of people, they spend so much time just, go, 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 and don't really slow down enough to, rejuvenate and spend time with their family and, kind of back up and, really put back into perspective the things that matter. And, and sometimes that's just, give yourself time to rest. There's 7 days in a week for a reason. Take that seventh day and rest because, it's needed. Otherwise,
you can pick and choose. For me, I like to cook. Like I love to be in the kitchen cooking.
hey,
Me and my partner, we're always eating. So I love staying in the kitchen and just cooking, putting things together. That's rejuvenating for me. That's peace. A peace of mind for myself. So
sure.
whatever that peace of mind for a person is, just to give you a mental woosah, to pick back up again and keep going. Find that, do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what is something that you wish earlier in life you had done that you didn't, but now you've sort of learned that it's vitally important?
I probably wouldn't, I don't want to say wait so many years, but I probably would have taken a different route as far as education. I would have, started some things earlier. I know that everything has its timing, but like they say, had I known then what I know now, I definitely would have taken advantage of my life management skills, should I say, going into adulthood with education and becoming an entrepreneur so much sooner, and learning that, my elders, I saw them do it with so many things, but it wasn't taught like that to us. Like my grandfather, he was construction worker, he was an electrician, and with little to no education, but I saw him do it. I just didn't know what it meant and what it would have meant to me if I would have done it sooner.
Sure. Yeah, and I think a lot of us kind of have that same regret, if you will, that we wish we had started sooner. Especially I'm in the finance world, so when I talk to people, the things that we talk about is I wish I'd done that sooner because it's cheaper when you do it earlier. But certainly just across the board is not spending so much time not doing it and just go ahead and bite the bullet, so to speak, and go ahead and do it. Do it rather than put it off. Procrastination is not your friend.
Right.
So let's focus. Let's focus a few minutes on you, kind of as a person, Tomathan, if that's okay. What hurdles did you have to personally face? Since you're a veteran, we'll kind of go from that viewpoint. When you're transitioning out of the military and then going into entrepreneurship, how did you overcome that transition period?
It took a while for me because after the military, even like my last 4 years of that led up to my last day of service, I just kept saying, I just feel like there's something more, there's something bigger out there. It's it's something beyond this now. It's like I know that my time will come, but I don't want to be just stuck to doing one thing. I don't want to be just confined to a 9 to 5. It's something liberating. It's something that's just so free feeling when you can, be your own boss and literally create your day on how you want it. Can it be challenging? Yes, but it's something liberating about it. And I just knew I didn't want to be managed. I wanted to be the manager. I wanted to design, that intricate part of my life. And becoming an entrepreneur has done that. It's still creating that vessel. It's a journey that I don't mind walking,
Sure.
And it's not just for my benefit, it's for my family too. So I don't mind walking.
So was that vision and that outlook kind of obvious to you, or did you sort of stumble upon that over time?
As far as being an entrepreneur, it's always been there. But the vision earlier this year, I was one of those. I had to sit back. I've always been observant. I've always analyzed, even to a fault. Sometimes I can overanalyze, but that's just my nature. But I sat back and saw how things go and how they're ran and how it becomes a blessing to others. And you see that it really just makes you have that, okay, this is I see the purpose, you know, I see the vision.
Sure.
And it's one that you want to continue, that you want, you know, carry out.
So if you could kind of talk me through how you got started with the business that you're in, what did that look like?
Well, prior to it was introduced to me, I was traveling with modeling and acting, but I was booking stuff for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then later last year, December, I met my partner online, and we talked about it, you know, after we had a couple of meetings, and we talked about the business, and I was like, okay, you know, I'll do it. And so I jumped on board, and after I saw, you know, residuals coming, I'm like, I gotta book, you know, travel and, you know, use it for myself for my 40th birthday, and this past May, and saw the rates, how the rates were so different, and the opportunities that are afforded. Mm-hmm. And once I got Clear card, which is the Cruise Line Industry Association card, and my passport, it's like everything that we look at is amazing. And yeah, it's like the vision has really just come to a full, because it's like you see where it can take it, where it has taken others. Mm-hmm. So it's created an even bigger, bright, and bigger light for that.
So what kind of compelled you to become a travel person, you know, travel agent, if you will?
I was already doing it anyway. I just wasn't, you know, saving and earning. I wasn't earning or saving. I was literally just giving my money away and, you know, letting others earn the commission. So mm-hmm. That's been the saving grace right there. I was already doing it. Plus, I've done it in the military. Mm-hmm. You know, being an admin officer, I was creating travel itineraries, and, you know, of course, you have to people get ready to transfer and everything. So, you know, I was a travel guy. You know, I was a travel guy. Putting the packages together, they get ready to go overseas, you know, everything, citizenships, I did that. So everything pertaining to travel, I was already doing.
Okay, so yeah, it's kind of interesting that you're mentioning that, because a lot of people that I talk to, you know, especially from the veteran community, we're not necessarily doing what we did back in the service, but we actually sort of are. So that's interesting. And, you know, you had one of those jobs that probably a lot of us wish we had, you know, helping people travel.
Well, y'all had to do, like, if, say, for example, you're getting ready to go on leave, and you're looking for, like, something to do in, like, the next city, or what flight can you catch? You was already a travel agent, even back then. So it was like when people say it like that, because I laughed at first too, you know, when I was doing it, like, when you freaking travel, you know, this amount of time, I'm sure 90% of travel agent. I was like, kind of right. You're actually right. So it just made sense.
So is there another profession out there that, you know, other than what you're doing right now, that you would like to dip your toes into?
Farming. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
Well, I grew up on a farm, so I've always wanted to raise chickens for some reason. Chickens and cows. I don't know. Chickens and cows. And a restaurant. I've always wanted to own a restaurant. But acting, modeling, traveling. But to add a restaurant and a farm to that, hey, the more the merrier. More streams of income, what should I say?
That's pretty diverse. Yep. So what would you say your greatest strength is?
Wow. I'm strong-headed. I'm strong-headed. I'm very strong-willed.
Okay. And, you know, the obvious flip side of that, what would you say the greatest weakness is then?
My greatest weakness is communicating better. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see how that can kind of go hand in hand. You know, you can be so strong-willed because you always, you know, growing accustomed, or, you know, doing things, you know, when it's just, you know, you know, for yourself, and
yeah,
or it's, you know, you have to do it by yourself. like just growing up, it's just certain things, you know, that I endured where I had to do that. You know, I had to make that decision, and it just kind of, you know, hardens you a little bit. But learning how to communicate better is a growing weakness. It's strengthening.
Yeah,
and have, you know, that support to where it strengthens that area. You know, I feel like it's an amazing thing.
yeah, and I can kind of relate to, you know, both of those, you know, because, you know, I find that I have sort of a controlling streak. Those people that know me know that I have that, and so, you know, being able to delegate is sort of, you know, one of my weaknesses of, you know, handing off to somebody else, because by nature I'd much rather, you know, keep my fingers in everything. And so, you know, and then communicating what I'm doing sort of goes part and parcel to that, as, you know, I don't want to take my hands off. So, yeah, I can kind of relate with those.
Yeah. Just like me, like growing up, we had to just go out, like when things would happen on the farm, we just had to get out there and just get it done. And so growing up with getting it done, just get it done, just get it done. The military, just get it done, just get it done, just get it done. It's like you're literally just, it's like anything or anytime something occurs or arises, you automatically go into just get it done, just get it done, just get it done, just get it done and move on. Just get it. And so it's like deprogramming yourself to reprogram, you know, with allowing others to help and to assist. But sometimes you just still fight with that. Just get it done. Just get it done.
Yeah, and, you know, learning to delegate is one of the things that is going to be very, very valuable. You know, especially when we're entrepreneurs, is, you know, handing off those jobs that we really don't need to be doing ourselves. That's a hard lesson, but, you know, certainly did need to learn that one. Now each of us kind of have a place that we like to go to, you know, sort of our idea getting place. You know, some people it's, you know, going out in nature or walking their dog or what have you. What is that place do you go to get your best ideas?
Fishing.
Fishing.
I like fishing. Fishing or going outside. Like going outside and just being in nature. It's like you just, I'll just get like a new idea. I don't know. It just like activates something. Just so walk outside right fast, or to just sit and just think and just let your brain just begin to open up and let things just go. It's like they start coming together. It's like, what about this idea?
Now, since we're in Texas, you know, I have to ask, you know, is when you're mentioning fishing, are you talking about catfishing?
Catfishing, going to Galveston, fishing for reds, black drum.
Okay.
Trout, bass, crappie, brim. Yes.
Oh, all kinds of fishing then.
All kinds.
Okay.
If I can catch it, I'll probably scale it and cook it and clean it. Yeah.
Hey. Excellent.
Except for turtle. No.
No turtle?
No turtle. No. Alligator, yes. No turtle.
Hey, I'm right there with you. So if you're just kind of describe your business from a high level, how would you describe that, the process behind it?
The process behind it, when clients, you know, want to go on like group cruises, or like I have a couple of clients right now that they want to go to Paris, and so it's literally me getting them the, you know, what they want, you know, putting together the best package, or, you know, the best booking for them with the best customer service, you know, having that high level of integrity, and, you know, making sure that it's, you know, it's done, you know, to their standard. So it's like I'm the facilitator and all of that from, you know, beginning to the end, is to making sure that everything is taken care of and it's properly in order and in place. You know, you don't want to offer bad service. So
sure,
that goes with that. Get it done. It's like, you know, making sure that it's to, you know, what they want. Like I had my godparents recently, they wanted to go on a cruise. So I literally put together the best possible, you know, cruise that they wanted. And they were pleased with it. So it's having a high level of integrity and, you know, keeping maintaining that customer service and, you know, reaching out and, you know, just checking on people, you know, checking on your clients, you know, how they're doing.
Sure.
That interaction. that's what's afforded, as your own, boss and a business owner, is that you have that luxury of, maintaining that for yourself and, keeping that reputation.
Mm-hmm. It is important. So to kind of, for the very last question that we have here today is, if you're to tell me something about yourself that the people that know you don't know, what would that be?
Something about myself that people don't know?
Right.
As outgoing as I may seem, I'm an introvert.
Oh, yeah.
I can literally stay in the house all day. Literally.
I can relate with that one.
But like social media and stuff, you wouldn't think that. You think that I'm always out and about. No, I can sit in the house in silence like all day and I'm fine. As long as I'm cooking or I've made something to eat and I can listen to music and sit in the house all day.
Yeah, I can relate with that one too, because the podcast and being all of the different social media things and just being out and putting myself out there, it's almost like therapy because I'm super shy by nature. So it's like, I'm sort of the person who I would rather sit against the wall and watch people. But so this is sort of my way of give myself self-therapy, put myself out there in front of people, and sometimes it's hundreds or thousands of people at a time. So hey,
yeah, it's crazy. Things people don't know.
Yep. Well, Tomathan, it's been an honor to have you on the program, and you'll be able to get to know you a little bit. And obviously, there's going to be people that want to know how to get a hold of you. So, what's the best way for them to reach out?
They can reach out. My Instagram is Crimson Travel with the KRIMSON Travel. My email address is crimsontravel@gmail.com. And my social media Facebook is Tomathan McGinnis. TOMATHAN McGinnis, MCGINNIS.
Excellent. Well, you heard it here, folks. So, don't stay in the house and be bored. Reach out to Tomathan and let him set you up and get you on a nice cruise or something and enjoy the world. Enjoy some life. Life's too short, so get out there, people.
Thank you, Mr. Snow.
Thank you, Tomathan. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too, bub.